Good day, Internet. My name is Evan, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how to easily create all types of speech bubbles, from normal speech bubbles to captions to thought bubbles, not to mention burst balloons and even sound effects. But first, we need to get the right font. Go to blambot.com, click All Fonts. Now, a comic font needs to be two things. One, it needs to be legible, and two, it needs to fit the tone of your story. Now, why Blambot? Well, most comic fonts you can download for free on the web are not suitable for it, and neither is the default selection provided by Adobe, except Comic Sans, but everybody hates it. Now, do note that on Blambot, some of the fonts are not free. If you click here and you find no free option, that means it's not free, but there's enough free font available on the website. For my comic, I'm going to choose Anime Ace 3. And as you can see, it has the non-profit indie comic use, so which means you can download it for free. Now, I already have the panels, artworks, and dialogue from the previous video. Now, there are three things you need to know about the dialogue. First is that the speech bubbles should not cover important areas of your artwork. Second, the text should be formatted as align center, unless it's a caption. Now, third, you need to adjust the text to give it that oval shape. For most of these dialogues, I'm going to center align. To adjust the kerning, go to character, and you can adjust the kerning right here from left or right. Drag it left to make the text closer together. Let me just zoom in to make this clearer. Again, we need that oval shape, so the middle text needs to be a little bit longer than this. Then the top text needs to be a little bit closer together, and this one's good enough for me. Let me give you another example. This might be too wide for my type of speech bubble, so I'm going to turn this into maybe 4 lines. I think this is more suitable. Now I'm going to adjust the kerning a little bit to make it more uniform with the other middle text. Also, make sure that there's no extra space at the end of each line. Now I'm just going to speed through the rest of the dialogues, making sure that everything is arranged right. Alright. Now it's time to create the speech bubbles. For speech bubbles, you have two choices. With choice A, you get to use preset brushes, so it's fast but hard to customize. For choice B, however, it might not be as fast, but it is fully customizable. My advice, if you want to do this as fast as possible, go with the presets. However, if you care a lot about quality, I would recommend at least using choice B for the normal speech bubbles. It's okay to use presets for thought bubbles and scream bubbles. I'll leave a link in the description for you to download the preset brushes for Photoshop. Just click on the brush tool on Photoshop, and then you'll find 20 different speech bubbles as brushes. Most of them are normal speech bubbles, but there are also 3 types of thought bubbles, as well as 4 types of scream bubbles. Let's start with the normal speech bubble. Now, we're going to make sure that it is sized appropriately because it's hard to change the size after it's been painted. Okay, now this dialogue is supposedly spoken by neighbor 1 on the first panel. Press Ctrl T to bring out the transform feature, and then click this to flip it upside down. And then you just fill it with white using the paint bucket tool. If you resize this, the line size will also change, which is why I don't recommend this. It's really hard to work with. So now that I got that out of the way, let me delete this one and so we could create a real speech bubble. Now, first thing we're going to do is create a new layer. For this, I'm just going to name it one random neighbor speech because this character is called random neighbor. Naming them just makes it easier to track. Now, instead of the rectangular marquee tool, you need to be using the circle marquee tool. Place your cursor at the center of the text, hold Alt, click, and then drag it to the side, forming that oval shape. Make sure to give enough room for the text to breathe. Alright, next we need to create the tail. Choose the polygon lasso tool right here, then hold shift so you can add to the selection. Then just create a tail and make sure it ends up near the speaker's mouth. It's better to be thin, and then right click, click stroke. The bubble width needs to be half that of the panel width. In my case, 5 pixels. Then change location to center. By the way, make sure the color is black. Click OK. Choose the paint bucket tool. Change the color to white. Then just dab it all over the selection. And there you go. Press Ctrl D to exit selection. Now we're almost complete, but speech bubbles usually have curves, so that's what we're gonna add. Make sure you're on the right layer, then click Edit, Puppet Warp. Now put a pin on the tail end, on the tail beginning, then on the top and bottom of the speech bubble just to anchor it. Now you should be able to easily bend the tail like this. You could put another pin on the center so you can bend the center as well. Adjust it as you see fit. Just make sure that the tail end is near the mouth. You may use the move tool to adjust the text. Now we're good. Now we got all the normal speech bubbles taken care of. Let's move on to captions. Captions are primarily used for narration, but it could also be used to convey the time and space, and in rare cases, internal thoughts, unless you use thought bubbles. Captions are usually rectangular, so I'm going to use kerning to make the lines even in length. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, and make sure that you don't ruin readability. Alright, that should do it. Now create a new layer, drag the new layer just below the caption, and rename it appropriately. With captions, we're going to go back to using the rectangular marquee tool. Right-click stroke. The line width needs to be slightly higher than that of a speech bubble. So in my case, I'm raising it to 8. Then choose the paint bucket tool and then change the color. Many comics usually change the color of captions to set them apart. Other comics also color code captions according to type. As for me, I'm just gonna opt for a faded yellow color. Press Ctrl D to exit selection. I personally also like to italicize the caption in this comic, but that's a personal choice. Next, let me show you how to create a thought bubble. Now mind you, there is no thought bubble in this page, supposedly, but I'm just gonna create one for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to delete this one and turn it into a thought bubble. For thought bubbles, you really have no choice but to use a preset. Simply select the preset brush, change the color to black, dab it on the text, click the paint bucket tool, change the color to white, then dab it on the thought bubble and each individual circle. Then drag the bubble and the speech accordingly. Then use the puppet warp feature. Put a pin on each circle. Then drag the circles accordingly. If you find the balloon oddly shaped for your text, you could adjust it using the warp tool. And there you go. Next, let's work on the scream bubbles, also known as burst balloons. In this page, we have one, this. First, let's create the layer and name it. And you could use the preset and just dab it right here. Then fill it with white. Use the transform tool to adjust the placement and size. Or you could use the other method and create it from scratch. Click on the polygon tool, then click on the document once. I recommend you just copy what you see here on screen. As you can see, the size can be adjusted anyway. Do note that you need to adjust the stroke here, as well as the shape. For me, I prefer 5 pixels and a white fill. Click enter once you're done. For the tail, just use the polygon lasso. The only difference is that you'd want a zigzag thunderbolt-like shape. That should do it. Click stroke. I'm gonna set it to 5 pixels to keep it uniform. Fill it up with white. Control D to deselect. And just paint over the excess lines. There you go. You may use the warp or the puppet warp to adjust it accordingly. And we're done. Now lastly, there's sound effects. You may have seen this in a few comics and mangas. I'm still a rookie at lettering, but I'm gonna show you how I create mine. I typically use bold and expressive fonts that reflect the sound that's being depicted. For example, jagged fonts for explosions or impacts, or wavy fonts for echoes. You don't have to do it like that, but I find it fitting. Let me use this text as an example. I'm gonna use Feast of Flesh here because it seems appropriate. Then I'm gonna use another one for an echoey sound effect. Assume that the scene here is inside a cave or something. Using the Hypnoma font for its wavy aesthetic. Then use the warp text feature. It can go a long way in making your text look expressive. Then you're gonna change the text color to match your composition. Then double click on the layer so you could add a stroke. In this case, I'm gonna keep it black. For the drip, I'm gonna make it blue. And there you go. These are good additions to your comics to make them feel more engaging. And I've said this before, but make sure that the balloons are arranged according to the flow of your comic. And last tip, no balloon rubbing. It's a no-no. Balloons don't like to touch each other. In the last video, I'll be diving deep into Photoshop. I'll show you how to retouch your AI generated images so it comes out right, as well as other Photoshop hacks that I use daily for creating comics. Have a good one. Goodbye.